All right, hopefully I won't go off the hinge again. I keep rewinding this. Basically, we're going to talk about these liberal kids out here. I was watching the videos, and this guy popped up had like a white mask on, a little like cross right here, had full neck tattoos, everything. And he was saying he used to be a liberal, and he was one of them kids out there causing trouble, causing all this shit. And he goes, and then he grew up, and that's when it dawned on him. All liberals are those kids in the store throwing temper tantrums. Because that's all they are. They know that nobody's going to spank them or get in trouble for throwing tantrums out in the street. I'm like, holy shit. And I started thinking about it. He's right. They are. They're the kids that the parents let them throw tantrums in the store. You know, they'd be like, oh, okay. And then they just like walk off and let the kid, instead of grabbing them, you know, because we had that look or that finger. We knew is if we kept pushing it, we were going to get that one of those looks of the finger, and later on, it was going to be so much worse. And I gave it to my kids. My parents gave it to me. My mom gave it to me especially. My dad just whooped my ass. But yeah, it's not abuse unless it's taken there. Okay? Did some of them beat the shit out of us unnecessarily and abuse us? Yes. Did it keep us straight? Yes. Did we go out and cause violence and destruct and destroy things? No. Once in a while, you know, you'd have your riots like Watts and stuff, but that was more of an uprising, and you kind of got to listen to the other side. You know, the black people were being repressed, and they were being taken advantage of and abused and shit like that, and violence was being used against them from the police department, stuff like that. But, you know, Rodney King kind of thing. But just normally, that's all these kids are. You're little temper trample little children. You don't know what you're doing. You need to go home. You need to look in the mirror and figure out what you're going to do with your life. You can't be doing this shit all your life. Like he said, sooner or later, they wake up. Then they realize what dumbasses they are, and then they try to fix their life. What I was thinking was, why don't you just go out there and say, hey, stop being a dumbass. You know, you see the guys with the cameras, they're out there. Why are you here? I don't know. They told me they said to show up here. We came here, and they gave us these signs. It's like, well, somebody somewhere is paying for this shit. Somewhere, somebody needs to pay for this shit with their own money. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you're going to pay people to come in, cause all these problems? Well, now we're going to cause you some financial problems. You know what I'm saying? But we don't. It's like I talked about the other day. We have all this proof. Oh, yeah, we got proof that Clinton did this, or Obama did that, or these people did this. We got proof that Tim Walz and all the mayors in Minnesota and all surrounding areas are embezzled all these billions of dollars. Arrest somebody. Telling us you caught them, you have the proof, and then doing absolutely nothing because it might destroy the country. Who gives a shit? It doesn't make any sense. Charge somebody, put them in jail. Let's get this thing going. We don't care if it's good for the country or not. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, if it's not good for the country, who cares? Let it ride, you know? It's a crazy world, but it's like, just sitting here, letting shit happen is not helping the situation whatsoever. You got the proof. You got it on paper. You're ready to go. You know who did it. You know who helped them. Charge somebody. Arrest them. Get this ball rolling. Okay? Wow, we're getting a lot of cars coming in. Get this whole shenanigan thing going, you know? It's like, it's crazy. There's no reason any of this shit should happen. And it's bad for the country. Tough shit. If they wouldn't have done it in the first place, it wouldn't be bad for them. You know, just because you have a Senate seat or any kind of government position doesn't make you exempt. It never did. It never should. Shouldn't even been thought of that way. It's just automatic. You go to jail. You broke the law. It's time to go to jail. That's simple. There's no reason that we should be fighting all this shit, wondering why, and listening to everybody hawk and hook and complain and going, hey, why isn't this going on? Why isn't that going on? And instead, nobody's doing shit about anything. It's like, oh, we have all this proof that this happened, but we also have the proof that that happened. They molested this person, or they hurt that person, or they hurt this group, and they hurt that group, and then they were racist against that group, but then nothing happens. Okay? The same thing like these stupid little liberal kids. They're just little tantrums. Oh, well, you're fascist. Actually, that's you. Oh, you're Nazis. Actually, that's you. Stop blaming us for your shit. That's just your childish little games don't work. We don't care anymore. And you're starting to piss off the whole Generation X. And there's a lot of us. And we're not going to put up with their shit. What was it? They had like 30 or 40 of Gen X guys showed up over there, one of their little protests. One of them swung. He missed. Or just like grazed him. And the guy just said, let's go. And he starts swinging. He like knocked 3 or 4 of them out. And they're like, oh my God, no, it's not what we want. Well, you swung. It's go time. We are the FAFO. We are the FAFO generation. And you swung. You missed. Because if you would have hit, you would have been like, oh, look at me. We're so great. Yay. No, you're idiots. Okay? Go figure out what you're going to do with your life. Go figure out what you're going to do with that $100,000 transvestite sexual orientation degree you got that doesn't go to anything that you paid $100,000 for. That your professor pushed you on getting. Oh, you're going to be so smart. You're going to have a great time. You're going to be a psychiatrist or whatever. And you don't. It's worthless. You spent $100,000. You guys should be suing these schools, these universities and shit for even offering those kind of degrees. Regardless if he took it, okay? Why is it, this is one of the truest things, why is it at 17 years old, I could sign a contract to borrow $250,000 for a degree I could never use, but I can't get a $50,000 loan to start a business? Why aren't they pushing what the hell is that called? The other one, not the degrees, but the trades. Push the trades, man. The trades cost what? $30,000, $40,000 to learn, and they're making $80,000 to $100,000, $120,000 a year for a trade skill? No, because all the kids are lazy because nobody pushed them. They all let them throw their total tantrums that they're still throwing today now as adults, young adults, child adults. We let them all go. Why are we holding these universities? Hey, you know what? All those degrees that aren't real degrees, we're no longer going to pay you. In fact, we want our money back. You hit them with that shit, I guarantee you they're going to straight up fix their shit. Wait a minute. We gave like 100,000 degrees away, and you're telling us 70% of those are useless, so they don't count, and we got to pay that money back? Yeah. That's what we're saying. That's what you're doing. And I guarantee you, it'll fix those university and colleges right quick. It's crazy, but there's no reason for it, and I don't see why we're allowing it to even happen, to occur, but we do. Everybody's got an opinion on it. Put it down in the comments. What's your opinion on it? I don't care if you're liberal. You're still a cry-ass baby child adult. That's all you guys are doing. Why are you guys out there at ICE facility? What do you care? Where were you when they were sitting there saying, oh, let's let all the illegals in regardless of what they think? Why weren't you protesting that? That's where your problems came from. If you want to let them in, if you want to let your people let them in, our country, you wouldn't be dealing with this shit right now. If they weren't killing Americans, see, it's all good and shit until something happens to you, one of your family, your friends or family. Then it's going to be, why wasn't this stopped? Why didn't you guys do anything? Why didn't ICE take them away? Why were they in our country? Now it's back to our problem because we didn't do our job. No, you guys didn't do your job by backing it. Okay? It's a law. It's always been law. Everybody, Clinton, Hillary, Obama, everybody, it's always been against the law. What was it? You guys are all complaining about Trump sending people out, doing all this shit. He's only kicked out like 1 million. But yet Obama's done what, 4.5 million people? Shh, nobody knew about? Just get them out. Just kick them out. Don't make any hush-hush. Just kick them all out. And then your boy back there, dumbass, his 4 years, it was just open Wild West border down there. Anybody could come in. I mean, God knows. Look what they did in Minnesota. You have these people who kill their own people in their own country, and then you bring them into our country and plop them in an area and say, oh, that'll fix it. Okay, if they could fix their country, how are they going to help fix our country? They couldn't make their country better. That's what it was. If they can't make their country better, how are they going to make our country better? By getting free shit? You know, like they were pointing out some of the shit that these guys are driving around in $100,000 Mercedes cars and all this shit, and they don't have no jobs. But they have these mansions and all this shit from embezzling all this money through the SNAP programs and all this other shit, and yet there you are. You know, it's crazy shit. So that's my rant for the day. You guys got any comments? Put them down below. Like, subscribe, donate to the pizza party down below if you like. We appreciate it at all times. What are your thoughts on this shit? I mean, I agree with the guy. If I could find the video, I'd put it in here. But, I mean, he's got it right on, you know. They are child adults. That's basically what they are. They're young adults, but they're not even young adults. They're child adults. And, you know, they just turned 18. They're now adults, and they're still in their teens. It's crazy. They're still in their preteens, you know. And they're throwing temper tantrums. Instead of in a supermarket in one of the aisles, they're throwing it out there in the middle of facilities and shit. And then when they get grabbed, it's like, oh, I didn't do anything, you know, where crap. It's like, no, it's time to be held accountable. You bring a gun, you're held accountable, regardless whether they shoot you dead or not. Hey, guess what? You bring a child, that's child endangerment. Be held accountable. Just because, oh, I thought ICE wouldn't do anything because I had a child on me. That's bullshit right there. You should lose all your kids and all your parental rights. So should your family. And your family, that's the main thing. Where are your people's families? That's crazy. You got all this shit going on in the world, and where are the parents to these child adults? Why aren't they stepping in going, hey, you know what? When are you going to grow up? Be an American. We allowed you guys to have your chance. Now it's our chance. It's our time. We're going to fix it all. And all you're doing is just perpetuating the cycle. You're making it take longer than what it needs to than anything else. Stop it. Go home, sit down in the corner, and think about what you need to do to make your life better. Instead of, hey, what can I do to make this situation worse or that worse or that worse? How am I going to get paid? We need to go after every aspect of all this and stop doing this shit. All right, you guys have a good afternoon. I've taken up enough of your time. We'll talk to you next time. Like, subscribe down below. Put your comment. What do you think, man? I mean, I agree. They are child adults, like this guy said. And they're just throwing temper tantrums, and we're allowing it to happen. They're wearing costumes out there filled with air, you know. They're doing their shit. That was still the best one when the guy put the mace in the hole. It just, took the guy 10 minutes to figure out what the problem was. Oh, my God, the guy maced my hole. And then he bring an extra suit. Well, I'll just keep doing it to all the suits. But I was like, that's crazy. Plus, the chance of you getting injured is great. But nobody ever listens. And it's like, something bad really, really, really is going to happen sooner or later. And it's going to make all this shit look like nothing. And I'm amazed something from far away hasn't interrupted the friendly, peaceful protests in ICE facilities. That somebody hasn't laid down somewhere and help take care of the problem. Because I guarantee you, if it happens once or twice, they're going to stop doing it. Because, hey, you might go there and there might be a chance that end. So don't go. You know, now they're bringing guns, going, oh, well, why'd you bring a gun? I was scared. Well, then why'd you go? Because I wanted to go and express my things. But you were scared. Yeah, but I brought a gun. Why? Because you were scared. If you were scared, why the hell did you go? It's the same thing Democrats do to us. Well, guess what? Gun-free zones, the same thing. Well, let's get into some of that shit, you know, because I could talk to hours about that crap. If you're going to go hurt a bunch of people, where are you going to go? A place where nobody can stop you. Think about that one. Gun-free zones need to be made illegal, period. Granted, federal courts, stuff like that, I kind of understand that because some of the past people have brought weapons in and kind of took the law in their own hands, even though it was a righteous way of doing it. But it's just crazy. But see, certain places you gotta let slide. But gunless schools, shit like that, these gun-free zones, all it does is it opens it up. And these guys come in, they have free reign, they know it. And then look at the one elementary school, was that the Florida one? The cops were afraid to go in. They stayed outside Meanwhile, kids and shit were getting killed inside, but they never went in, even though it was their job to go in and rescue those kids. I would first one to the damn door. Let's go. You know, that's just crazy. And it's like, how do we know the bad guys from the kids? The kids will be running at you. The bad guys will be pointing a gun at you. Okay? Huge difference. And it's like, and they're probably going to be taller because they're going to be shooting down because they're children. So, anyway, you guys like, comment, supply, do your thing down below. Hit the bell if you want to hear about my new ones, stuff like that. You guys have a good afternoon. We'll talk to you later.